I never thought my marriage would turn the stage of the most indecent challenge of my life, but it was. While everyone danced, laughed, and toasted, he appeared behind me with that naughty smile, his eyes full of secrets, and whispered, "I have a gift for you, but it has to come now." My heart fired. It was my nephew, only, not blood. Son of my father's new wife, 4 years younger, and always had a way too provocative to be ignored. He pulled me by the hand to the outdoor bathroom, locked the door, and it was straightforward. Let's really play or consequence. But with one extra rule, each piece of clothing is worth one truth. My breath crashed. What should I say? To escape. Scream. But I stayed. And I widened. Little did I know that this little game was going to dig up such a dirty secret that I still go scarce just remembering. And in the end, it wasn't just lipstick that was marked that night. Want to know what was the first truth? And how did this become a blackmail full of desire? So stay with me to the end, because you won't believe what happened after that kiss. The party was beautiful. Every detail seemed taken from a fairy tale, but what was about to happen? I had already drunk about 3 sparkling glasses when I first saw him that night. He wore a tight shirt glued to his body, and his gaze, that bastard look that crossed the soul, and undressed without touching. The song was vibrated, but my body began to vibrate for another reason. He approached calmly, holding 2 cups. "For the hottest bride of the night." I laughed, tried to pretend I didn't feel anything, but my skin was already on fire. I tried to be discreet, keeping a married woman pose, but he looked at me like who already knew that my curiosity was stronger than reason. Deep down, I knew I was flirting with danger, but when he leaned his fingers to mine to give me the cup, I felt a shiver that went straight between my legs, and I didn't go back. I smiled. It was as if the marriage was just a detail, because at that moment there was only the game between the two of us. When he locked the bathroom door, I felt his heart knock on his throat. The sound of the latch was like a warning. From now on, there was no return. He leaned against the wall, crossed his arms, and let go. "I'm giving you a wedding gift, but you have to play with me." My eyes sought his, and he added with his voice low and charged with malice, "Truth or consequence, but with an extra. Every piece of clothing is worth a truth of me, and I promise not to lie." That sounded wrong at all levels, but it was so tempting. I should have said no, laughing, out of there. But I didn't say. I didn't laugh, and I stayed. He approached and ran his finger down my dress strap. "If it bumps, just start." My whole body reacted. I felt my nipples stiffens only with that light, almost innocent touch. But there was nothing innocent anymore between the two of us. I lifted my chin, looked into his eyes, and said, "You start." He smiled as who already expected this answer. He took his shirt slowly, revealing a body that I had only imagined. "Now, it's your turn." My hands trembled, but I didn't hesitate. I reached the bar of the dress and pulled up slowly, savoring the effect that each inch of skin caused it. When I stopped, I was just lingerie, a white-handed white piece, chosen to impress the groom, but now it had a devastating effect on my false nephew. He devoured me with his eyes, as if he had gained the right to undress my eyes. "Now speaks," I demanded with my breath. He bit his lip, ran a hand over his hair, and let out the first truth. "I already imagined you with me, in his place, more than once." It hit a punch in the chest and a shock between the legs. I felt shamelessly to rise to the last strand of my hair. It was no surprise I had already fantasized, but hearing him say, in that tone, with that delivery, it was like lighting gasoline. "When?" I asked, half without air. "On your engagement day. And then, at the ceremony rehearsal, when you first dressed white." I almost lost control there. He laughed softly, provocative, as if he had liking my reaction. My whole body reacted. Part of me shouted that this was crazy, but the other part, I just wanted more. My fingers slid to the bra closure. I gave a slight smile and let go, dropping it slowly. The air seemed denser, and his gaze set out on my breasts, as if he had been waiting for it ever. "Your turn," I said, crossing my arms just to provoke even more. He took a deep breath and started talking. "I've been with your fiancé weeks before you announced the wedding." My blood froze. That name, that woman, The Carolina that the groom said she never wanted to see again. You're kidding, right? I asked, with a voice failing. I'm not. It was just a night. But I found out she was still in love with him. And then I made a point of telling her about you both. I walked away a step, feeling my head spinning. Had he provoked that crisis? That time when the groom disappeared for 2 days and came back saying he needed to think about everything? Had it been him? Why? I whispered. He shrugged. Maybe to see if you were free. My heart beat faster. Now it was more than a game. It was revenge and mixed desire. I should have stopped there. Caught my dress out of that bathroom and turned to the party as if nothing had happened. But I couldn't, because a part of me wanted to hear more. I wanted to know how far he had gone. For me, I went down my panties slowly, feeling the fabric, slippery by the legs. I was naked body and reason. Now give me your last truth, I ordered, with his eyes stuck in his. He bit his lip and hesitated for a second. The voice came out more severe, dirtier. The day the groom asked you to marry, I was the one who sent that anonymous message telling him to run after you. I blinked, not understanding. That message he received in the middle of the morning, saying that I was the woman of his life, was you. He nodded. He was going to give up. I listened unintentionally. He was drunk, insecure, so I took the missing push. I felt my stomach turn. So he had not only been in the ex, had he manipulated my engagement? Did you want us to marry? He came close and whispered, No, I wanted to see you dressed in white, just then see you like that. How's it now? At that moment, all inside me was chaos. The party was still outside, but inside, it was as if the world had stopped. And he, that bastard, seemed to feed on my confusion. I approached slowly, still naked, and leaned my fingers on his chest. You don't hate my fiancé, you hate that he had me first, right? He smiled in the corner, like who doesn't deny it. I wanted you before, but he appeared with that ideal woman, talk and stole you from my aim. But that's okay. In the end, you're here, with me, and naked. My breathing was out of control. And the worst? I was enjoying it. Not only of the game, but the idea of someone having done it all, just for wanting me. Did you plan all this from the beginning? I asked. He came closer, gluing his body on mine. No, I just enjoyed when I realized you wanted me too. The truth is that he was right. I wanted, very, but there was still something stuck in my throat. What if he knows? He ran his finger over my mouth and whispered, So it makes him know, now, on the track. Let's make it clear who you really want. Wearing that dress again was like putting a costume. I was no longer the sweet bride of the ceremony. I was the woman who had just been caused to the limit, naked in the face of desire, full of anger and horny. He leaves the bathroom with shaking legs, but with his chest stewed. The song still played loudly. My fiancé laughed with friends, distracted, innocent, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. I approached him as if nothing had happened. I sat on my lap, kissed my neck, was affectionate, but my eyes looked for my nephew's eyes across the hall. And when he noticed, he smiled lightly, a dirty smile, challenging. I asked DJ to change the song. I chose a slow, full of malice. I pulled my fiancé to dance, but my body didn't dance with him dance to another. Each wiggle was a direct provocation. I felt the eyes of the other burning my skin. You're different, the groom commented. I'm feeling alive, I said. But the truth? I was feeling revenge. And each step was a silent answer to that dirty challenge in the bathroom. He couldn't stand it. He came to me as I danced, pulled me by the arm and whispered in my ear, Want to make him feel? Then come with me. I should have said no, but it was too late. I let out of the groom with a smile and followed the other to a dark corner of the hall. The song was distant, and all I listened to was my breath fast and the sound of my heel hitting the floor. He leaned against the wall, and before I could think, kissed me. It was not a light kiss. It was urgent, possessive, dirty, our mouths hungry, angry, with everything we held for so long. My hand grabbed his hair, and the whole body reacted. I felt the lipstick blur. I felt my skin burn. And at that moment, nothing more mattered. Not even the groom, nor the marriage. Just that kiss. When I walked away, I was dizzy. He wiped the corner of my mouth with his thumb and said, "Now, he'll see." And I knew, because on the other side of the track, my fiancé had stopped, his eyes fixed on me, and in the red lipstick that marked everything. I went back to the track with my face and my heart on my jumps. The groom looked at me as if he tried to decipher what he had just seen. He said nothing. He just held my hand and tried to smile, but I saw the doubt in his eyes. And I also saw the fear. The blurred lipstick was a dirty, dirty proof that something was out of place. I pretended that nothing happened. I took another glass of sparkling wine, took a long sip, and kept smiling. Inside, I was boiling. It was a mixture of guilt, pleasure, and that addictive adrenaline. My nephew was on the other side, staring at me, as if waiting for the next movement. But for a moment, everything stopped. The groom pulled me to the corner. "Is everything okay?" he asked softly. I just nodded. "You disappeared for a few minutes, and this lipstick." He touched my face. "It must have been at the time of dance." He lied, with the best smile I could force. He believed, at least at that moment. But inside me I knew the game had turned, and the silence was just the beginning of what was yet to come. I woke up, with my head throbbing and the bitter taste of the night before in the mouth. The hotel room looked like a scenario of a movie I didn't know if I wanted to review. The groom slept beside me, hugging me, as if nothing had happened. But I knew everything had changed, and every time I closed my eyes, relived the kiss, the touch, his gaze. I took the phone and saw a message. It was his. "I wait for you in the parking lot. Last chance not to pretend nothing happened." My heart hit so hard that it hurt. I got up, slowly, trying not to wake the groom. I looked in the mirror. I could still see the light blur from the lipstick that he did not clean completely. I went down. Each step was a question. Did I want that? Or was it only addicted to danger? When I arrived in the parking lot, he was there. Black shirt, leaning against the car, and that same look of challenge. "Did you sleep well, little bride?" he teased. "You are a problem," I said. He smiled. "And you love problems." And I hated admitting, but it was true. I wanted to escape, but my legs took me straight to him. He opened the car door and gestured with his head. "Enter." I should have refused, turned my back and turned to the room. But between what I owed and what I wanted, the choice was easy. I entered. His smell filled the space, and I felt my body react again. "Are you going to blackmail me now?" I asked, a little laughing. "I don't need to. You're already here." He turned on the sound, put a low song, and started driving. Each curve seemed planned to increase tension. "I have a proposal," he said. "We continue until you decide that you don't want it anymore. No charges, no drama. I just wish." I laugh, nervous. "What if I say this is crazy? You're crazy. And it's not for me. It's because I make you feel." I looked at him, trying to decipher where the provocation ended and the truth began. He looked at me back. "Are you going to keep pretending you're marriage perfect? Or will you allow yourself to live something that really makes you tremble?" That was not just a joke. It was a veiled threat, a dangerous invitation, and I didn't say no. I returned to the hotel with my mind collapse. Every touch, every word of it, tormented me. I threw myself on the bed, still dressed, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand what I was doing. It was as if I had divided into two: the married woman, who wanted to follow the right line, and the other, that hungry, full of anger, who wanted him to tear me whole. In the bathroom mirror, I stared at myself. The lipstick still blurred, the neck with brand, the look lost. I hated myself for being excited, remembering the way he looked at me and the heat that aroused me. I took the phone, entered the nets, looked at the photos of the party. There, I was, beautiful, smiling, lying to everyone. I lay down again and closed my eyes. The souvenir of the kiss came back hard, his body against mine, the taste of the mouth, the provocation to the eyes. And then, I touched, alone, angry, with desire. I came fast, embarrassed from myself, but relieved, because even if only for a few seconds, I felt I still had control. Only I knew it was just a matter of time until it appeared again. He appeared a week later. I was on the market, a ring on my finger, trying to buy things for dinner, as if my life was normal. And there he was, standing in the bakery line, with that same smile as who knows too much. Married and still with this look of hunger? He whispered. As he approached, I tried to ignore, but my body reacted before any rational thinking. My legs have weakened. The stomach turned. We need to stop, I muttered. Then stop. Blocks me. At it. But he knew. I wasn't going to do any of this. On the way out, he leaned against my car. He pressed me against the door. There was no kiss, only words. Either you forget it all, or find me in the same place tonight. You choose. That night I went, and we made love like it was the last time. Wild, sweaty, desperate. And then, silence. No one ever knew, not even my fiancé. It was the dirtiest, most exciting, and buried secret of my life. Sometimes we still cross glances at family meetings, but we pretend well. He smiles discreet, and I look away. And the lipstick? I never used red again. It was too dangerous. There are things in life that we do without thinking. Others, we think too much and still do. I don't know today in which of the two categories this secret fits. I just know I lived something intense. Wrong, but true. And every time I remember that night, that challenge, I realize how stronger the desire can be than any ring on my finger. The marriage continues. The routine follows. But sometimes, in the middle of the dawn, I wake up sweating with the memory of his touch. And for a second, I catch myself smiling, not regret, but of pleasure. Because some stories, however wrong, leave marks that no one can erase. There are secrets that we bury so deep that even forgets how it started. But it's just a smell, a look, a memory, and everything comes back. And comes back hard. That was mine. A forbidden secret, lived between blurred kisses and silent looks. And now, it's yours too. Just don't tell anyone. If this story moved you like this video, subscribe to the channel and comments down here. Have you lived crazy that no one would believe? I want to know. Because sometimes, what looks more like a lie is the most horny to tell.